Guys, hardly working here, ready for another review, this time of Love, Simon, which for you was a week ago I said I was going to watch it. For me, it was probably a couple seconds ago. Bear with me, because unlike the last couple films, which I've seen tens of times, I've only seen this one once, and like I told you before, it was a week ago for me. It's going to be a month ago for when this comes out. So my mind is not going to be perfect with this review, but it was a really good one. I mean, solid 9 out of 10. And I think that the last point is just because I would have done the ending differently. It was a good ending. Don't get me wrong. It's just not the ending I would have done is the thing. But we'll get to that in time. So yeah, I just want to start out 9 out of 10. Should have seen it if you had the chance. I don't know if it's still in theaters at this point or not. Assuming it's not, absolutely wait till it comes out on Redbox and just rent it. You know, it'll be cheaper than the film was. You can watch it in a day, and just, God, I hope Redbox is still a thing by the time that movie would come out for it, because my dad's like the only person I know who still uses Redbox. I mean, Netflix and Hulu are really convenient, right? Getting into the spoilery stuff, because that's where the fun conversations happen. Love, Simon is the story of a boy who has a regular life. He says, I mean, he doesn't, and I mean that in that he doesn't eat. My friend, I went to see this with 3 other friends, and my friend to my right would keep pointing out, does this kid eat? Does he eat anything? And it was really funny, because throughout the whole thing, all he does is take one bite of food, and then he moves on. And it's an interesting choice, because I've heard people talk about some performers like Brad Pitt who can just come into a scene eating something and he's still interesting while eating. And instead you've got this kid who will take a bite and then he runs off. And I guess he's just having a hard time acting while eating, or it was just the choice. I don't know. I never read the book. As I understand, there's apparently a book. I'm kind of intrigued to read the book, since books tend to be better than film. I'm looking at you, Aragon, and how I'm not looking forward to that review at all. But we're focusing on the movie right now, so let's do that. So he doesn't eat, which is not normal at all. But the thing that he wants to comment on for being different, he's got a huge secret. He's gay. Now, I'm not trying to make light of this subject. I want to be perfectly clear that if you're in the closet and you're having a hard time being honest with yourself, find someone you can talk to. Absolutely be real with who you are. I have friends who are gay, and many of them have struggled to come out with their own sexuality. I myself am not. I identify as heteroflexible. I'll put myself out there. Essentially what that means is I'm straight, but the introduction of a same-sex partner during an event with someone of the opposite sex, I'm not going to be upset necessarily, as long as I'm attracted. I think that everyone has to admit that you need to be attracted to someone to sleep with them, because if you're not attracted to someone and sleeping with them, it's probably not going to be as fun. I don't really know. I'm pure. Again, sounds like a joke. It's not. I'm a month out. I might as well start to be real with you guys. And this so yeah, that's out there now. Okay. So, yeah, that was, hard to admit to, and I'm not even gay, I can't imagine what it's like for people who are, and I'm really sorry for your struggle. But I want you to know that ever since I found the term heteroflexible, I felt relieved. Like, I used to think, this is getting off topic, I used to think that identifying by your sexuality made no sense, because I wasn't engaged in sex, and I didn't really feel anything. Like, I understood that I wasn't unattracted to men. I just never wanted to date a man or specifically engage in relations with one. But as soon as I found a word that helped describe my place in all of this, I felt so much more relieved and at peace with myself, and kind of excited about opportunities in the world. And I'm sorry it took me discovering myself to be able to appreciate what it means to identify who you are. And I hope that everyone someday can appreciate what it means to know a bit of who you are. Okay, real talk, past that, let's get back to the film review. So, Love, Simon, he has this secret, and somebody on their school's secrets blog. Sorry, it's not filmed. It's usually all in text. Although there are pictures and things, which I guess is still blogging. Somebody comes out as gay. They don't say their actual name. They identify themselves as Blue. But they say that they have this huge secret. Life feels like a Ferris wheel where it's up and it's down. And Simon reaches out to this person because he shares the secret. And the story kind of involves him and this guy, and somebody else finds their emails back and forth and starts blackmailing him. And it's really unfortunate because, my God, I'm talking about the bad guy again. So this guy, I think his name was Pete. He could have been really cool, and I say that because he reminded me a lot of myself. Now, I never had all those posters, but there was definitely a point I was interested in magic. I've absolutely been a fan of, graphics t-shirts, and I try too hard to make somebody love themselves in the hopes that somehow that'll make them appreciate me. That's 100% my go-to, is uplifting others, because I don't know, I like other people feeling good, and there's just a part of me that I guess hopes. I've never pressured anyone. I've never felt the nice guy need of, well, I took care of you, so why aren't you taking care of me? That's never, no, I do try to be genuine when I'm trying to help somebody, and it's just a small voice in my head that I keep to myself and maybe share with some friends out of guilt that, like, it would be nice if something happened, but I'm not that forceful. Anyway, Pete was willing to blackmail to be with this girl. And he tried that, and it was unfortunate because he ends up following through. I mean, again, bad, but you have to admit it shows something that he actually stuck to his guns on his blackmailing. I feel like a lot of people will blackmail and not follow through. So even though he's a bad guy, at least he's a bad guy who sticks to his guns. He reveals later that he did it to get attention off of himself, which is kind of a dick move, but, things happen. I'm sorry, I can't defend him. He was a jerk. He really ruined the type of personality I thought I had, and it worries me of the type of person I could have been, but I wasn't, so I guess that's okay. Anyway, Simon gets outed. Everyone, his family, his friends, they all find out, and they all react negatively for their own reasons. Couple of his friends are upset because he was keeping them from being together to avoid this information being spilled. Another friend was totally into him, although my friends and I all agree that she was absolutely into the same girl everyone else was into, because the way that she looked at that girl in her Wonder Woman outfit was a little bit more than just as a friend, which is not a problem, but like, girl, come on. You saw those legs. They were shiny. Probably tights or whatever, but shiny. Yeah, he struggles because a lot of people, including Blue, all pull away, and he has a hard time. Things come back together eventually, and there's a really important talk between him and his mother, which I think was really well done. Unfortunately, I was out of the moment because they were wearing their shoes on the furniture, and who the hell wears their tennis shoes on a couch? Everyone, all my friends, the three of them were like, I didn't even notice. And like, I don't know why I noticed, but she was wearing her shoes on the white couch. Okay, that is dangerous. This is not okay. I was raised by cartoons that taught me to take your shoes off when you enter anyone's house, including your own. You definitely don't wear your shoes that go outside onto the carpet, Simon. What are you both doing? This household is filled with animals. Yeah. So very emotional scene, kind of ruined by costuming choices, I guess. And then there's the ending that I want to talk about. Simon gets on a Ferris wheel, and he uses just a whole roll of tickets to ride it the whole night, I guess. And he's waiting for Blue to show up, because he still doesn't know who Blue is. And the ending is, oh, it was one of the people he thought it was, and yay. Not a bad ending, I mean, it was cute, and I'm happy that he managed to be with somebody. But my personal ending would have been no Blue. Blue wouldn't have shown up. Blue would have still been struggling, because not everyone can come out. Not everyone is comfortable with themselves, and I think that it's important to recognize that. Not to shame the people, but to show that we know that there's still a struggle going on, you know? And my other point is, just like every film where a woman has to be with a man because whatever reason, damsel in distress needs somebody, I don't love that. You know, I don't love forced romance just so that there's a happy romantic ending. And I think what would have been great is if Simon could have been true to himself, won back his friends, won back his family, and not had a relationship. If Simon could have learned to have loved Simon, because that was a thing that his mom brought up, is that as he got older, he was struggling to be himself, to be who he used to be, because as he started to discover who he was, he started to wear a facade to try and fit in as the normal straight guy that everyone thought he was, and not be the gay person that he really was. And that, starting as a kernel of a lie, grew into a whole tree of lies. And I really think that what would have been great for him is to learn to be Simon again without somebody else. You know, love is excellent, but if you don't love yourself, it's still hard, you know, because what happens if their relationship doesn't work out? I think that's the point nobody talks about. Everyone throughout my whole life has always said, if you want to love somebody, you have to love yourself first. And I think that they're wrong. I think that if you want to love somebody, you should love yourself first. You absolutely don't have to. It's incredibly easy to love somebody else when you don't love yourself. I do it every day. I am filled with love for other people, and I don't love myself because I see the real me. You know, other people see the facade that I put on because it's who I want to be. And if I were that person, I'd absolutely love myself because he's fun and he takes care of people and he's great. But the real me is very quiet and reserved and doesn't fight for what he believes in enough. And it's hard to love somebody that I know could be stronger without encouraging, I guess. I need to start encouraging myself more. My point is, if you love yourself more before you start to love somebody else, the reality of something happening to that relationship, because all relationships end, whether it's a breakup, a divorce, or death, ends are eternal. You cannot avoid the end of anything. You know, it's unfortunate and it's real. And for some of us, it keeps us grounded. For some of us, it's what causes us to fight against. Whatever your drive is, you know, as long as it doesn't hurt other people, it's good. But the end will come. And I think that if you can love yourself, then that inevitability won't hurt as bad. Because you'll still have someone you can count on. You. You know, you're always going to be there, which is why you should be able to love yourself. So that's you know, the one thing I would have changed. I guess the shoes thing too would have bothered me a lot less. Also, big fan of Dad. His whole big, I can't believe I didn't see it. I feel like a terrible father because I've made so many jokes about heterosexuality, and that must have made you so uncomfortable, and I'm just terrible. And God, that was amazing. That was so incredible to see. I'm not going to cry. I'm feeling emotional right now. I'm not going to cry. It's a good movie. This one got a lot deeper and more involved than I intended it to, and it's also running on longer than I thought it was going to. So I'm sorry about that. I hope I didn't ruin too much of this for you, because you should absolutely give it a try. I'm going to go gather myself a bit, probably watch something else for next week's review. In the meantime, take care, everybody. Have a good one.